Playing Dota.
Rip feeding, whatever you want to call.
So this Ember pick coming up here for Wildcard. Great for arrow setup.
Oh yeah.
Gives them some gap close, some good damage. They can dive and chase Prophet. They can mess with Spirit Breaker a decent amount. They're going to pick something else. Kind of bad against Grimstroke, I guess. If you get Latch, you're going to have a bad time, but there it is, Ember Spirit.
Just with a big old sword.
Just puts his swords into one sword and
Right.
War Cries.
A Buster Sword.
They can still go for Ember Spirit, because if you have Ember Spirit and Timbersaw as your 2-3, you have 0 tower damage. Like, Timbersaw can take tier 1 towers just by tanking, and then you get other heroes, but taking tier 2 towers would be relatively hard. So seeing Sven picked up, it still keeps things open.
It's kind of interesting though, but Sven is a typical BKB carry, so he'll be pretty effective against like Grimstroke spells. Spirit Breaker later might be a problem when you go something like Ags, but Sven on paper looks pretty solid. Gives them another stun setup for Arrow as well, if they want to open fights that way, and another way to clear Treants as well too. So that won't be as big of an issue. And Gyro as a response, no IO. They watched the last series and they're like, this is what we should have picked against EG.
Too easy.
Could have been the pick there.
Too easy against Ortiz.
But Gyro plus Grimstroke is now a very high damage, magic damage lane.
Yeah, especially if you don't take Rocket nor Flak.
Or 0 points
Sorry,
Rocket Barrage.
Yes. Rocket Barrage does do a lot of damage, and so like Rocket Barrage plus Inkswell is kind of a cool thing. Plus Flak is pretty good in that way too. Clear out all the creeps, just get a lot of single target damage on the one guy.
I don't see too much synergy. You know, Gyrocopter going in with an Inkswell doesn't strike me as that hero. Maybe I'm wrong. They're going to be playing into Timbersaw and Mirana. Mirana can leap away. Timbersaw can use Timber Chain, so they need to play like on top of the Rocket, which is going to be very hard to execute. Mirana with the extra attack speed sees Rocket flying on Timbersaw, kills it. I don't see too much synergy between
I feel like if you fish with the Rocket, and it's like one of those ones where they don't react right away and start attacking it, you know Rocket's going to connect, and then you can chase them down. You get the Inkswell follow-up plus Rocket Barrage damage.
Yeah, you gotta bluff
that could be kind of good. Yeah, it's like you're just like waiting for them to make a small mistake, and then you can like jump in and do a crap load of damage. Or you could follow it up with like a silence to prevent leap or something like that. Like I feel like there are potential openings that they could exploit. Maybe not as good as sorry, my chains.
Your chains
fall down.
They did ban out your Ember Spirit. But
they are not a musical instrument. I just went to the dollar store.
I like the maracas.
Oh, they actually are pretty similar. Yeah. Storm Spirit's the pick. Global hero can help offset Nature Prophet split push, kill Grimstroke backline, dodge Spirit Breaker. It's good.
They need a hero for Forsaken Oracle. All his heroes were banned out first phase. First square. Razor banned. Razor banned out. I'm not sure what he's gonna play. I'm thinking about maybe Dragon Knight, because doesn't require too much of a micro. He doesn't play the Spirit heroes. He doesn't play Void Spirit.
Leshrac?
Nothing that buys Yules is a good option, I would say.
Huh. Interesting point there. It's a little vulnerable again against like Storm and stuff like that anyways, but yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to pick. I literally have no idea. I mean, he's only played 2 games in all of Dota history, right? So
that's correct.
How can we hypothesize at this point? Nothing we can do.
There's very small sample size to work off of here. Against traditional Storm Spirit things, or just traditional mid, I don't know. DK seems pretty autopilot, although against a Timbersum, maybe that would be a little unpleasant.
They'd have damage issues big time if they pick DK, I feel like.
Maybe a Wind Ranger. Can use Vindron to get out of sticky situations.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Rest of the team dies. He's safe.
I feel like it's kind of vulnerable against Storm at many points.
Lina. I think Lina. Yeah, I'm seeing Lina. This is 100% Oracle, Forsaken one, playing Lina in this matchup.
You have 20 seconds to change
I've watched his stream for the past week. I have seen only Razor so far in some position 5. I actually have no idea what they're going to pick.
He played some Legion. Pugna?
Okay. Tower Sieging.
Wait, who's mid? Is it going to be the Grim?
It's probably Pugna. What's wrong with Pugna mid? I mean, it's not common. but it can be okay.
Yeah. But I mean, like the old decrepify into Phantom's Embrace, you can't attack it.
That one's actually that one's quite good.
Yeah.
That one's fun. You just end up doing a lot of damage. I mean, maybe they're gonna mid Grimstroke.
They're arguing.
waiting it.
I see internal conflict in this team. Who's picking mid? Also, I do believe that they need to remake the lobby. This is not actually a bit. They actually do need to remake the lobby. Because I think they... Oh my god.
Don't touch my chains. You look great.
What?
You look great. Don't.
Do I though?
Yes.
Yes.
Say that.
Yes.
You look great.
I look great. Thank you.
You look great from the back too. It's like your profile's completely different.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel so luxurious. Expectations, Lacoste, for Wildcard Gaming. Does it seem like a 5-hero game for them?
Possibly. I'm looking more at Arkosh Gaming. I want to see who's playing what, but the Grimstroke plus Pugna combination, you don't have to buy E-Blade for this to be effective. You have a budget one. Still not very convinced by the picks, but...
Who would you prefer mid if it's between Pugna and Grimstroke?
I like Grimstroke mid.
Okay.
Spells to be maxed out. Have those 3 points in silence early on. 2 points in silence is nothing. They die, unless you use the Decrepify. But yeah, I want to see Grimstroke mid, which is probably not going to happen, but still.
I like Pugna mid better, and I think it actually kind of fits in their draft, because Pugna, what he does really well, he pretty consistently does well in his lane. He pressures towers really easily, tier 1 towers. You just move around, you get all this net worth advantage. But then the problem is that like sieging tier 2s and getting kills and pressuring the map after that's kind of hard. But I feel like that's where Nature's Prophet kind of like picks things up and is a little bit more effective at like splitting the map up. That way it's easier for Pugna to take ideal fights.
And double life drain. That's pretty
fog. Exactly. I see the potential.
You could just buy a shard to do that anyways, though.
Yeah, after 3 seconds.
No one's ever bought that, though.
I've never seen a multi-life drain actually work on more than 2 people, ever. And, I mean, you have to stand there for 3 seconds in... It's 1200 or... I think it's 1200 range. That doesn't happen in fights.
It's difficult, yeah, but Netherward can be good. I just don't really believe in Gyrocopter, to be honest. Picking it without IO is a little bit weird to me, but if they go like fight build and they use it to like win the lane with a lot of nukes with like rocket barrage and stuff, I'm gonna feel a lot better about it. But if they don't do that, I mean, maybe is there any possibility of Gyro being a support?
They don't have a carry.
Yeah, Pugna carry, it's just not good.
He has such high int gain though. Why can't he right click?
He does. He can right click.
Let's do armlet Pugna.
Oh god, that's real bad.
And then you use the Cripify on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. For maximum life floss, it would go very much in the spirit of Arkosh.
You can probably toggle that while you're life training, can't you?
I would really like to meet the person who's in charge of pressing the button every time I say, "Yeah, I got him. I got you."
It flashed the lights. I didn't press it though.
Arkosh.
This guy needs a raise. Like, they need to double his pay.
Because it is currently 12:36 a.m. in Stockholm, and my man, he's got the reflexes on Arkosh.
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 Arkosh. Well, got you there. That was only 2.
Production value.
We are making progress on the remaking of the lobby. I swear this is not a bit. This is actually the Dota 2 that we're getting our way into. We can revel about the EG Black and Yellow series some more because we kind of had to cut that short for this.
That was a bummer.
Which I want to give all the teams equal amounts of time to celebrate Black and Yellow, Jubei.
I'm really happy for them. That was a fun upset. They genuinely just played really well. Got aggressive, did fun stuff, won their game, outpicked them. Outdrafted EG, man. That ain't easy.
And I like how he said, you know, he doesn't remember. They lost the game, doesn't remember what even happened, you know. He's going to be remembering those victories. Game number 1, they played what they prepared for. Like, they played the practice tactics. But in game 3, they just went with the flow and looked really good.
You think Bulba's going to be wise to maybe these lower level teams having IO strats in their pocket now? Because again, I wouldn't have considered Black and Yellow to be an IO team. Oh my god, every time I look in this live. I wouldn't have considered them to be an IO team, and yet they took it out in a game 3 situation. It was ignored in the bans for all 3 games. Is the hero just good enough that even if you aren't a seasoned IO veteran, you can still bring your team to success?
It worked there, and he played IO very solid. I think it was just that EG relied on the fact that Nightfall playing offlane Doom was going to be able to get a lot of farm. He's going to be able to control the map, and sometimes he was going to get solo kill, especially because Shaggy usually plays like Squishy or Spirit Heroes. If one of those guys gets doomed on the side lane, usually he's going to be dead. So they thought like, oh, if we just pick Doom, there's like, this is going to control this side of the map, and we can basically win the rest of the game with this really strong pick. But by picking the IO Gyro, it laned well against it. In the mid-game team fights, it out-healed it typically. They even had Scotty against it, and he was still healing through it between the IO heals and the Satanic. So it was just like the perfect genius pick in the moment. And that could be the thing that costs EG going to the major, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, because historically in Season 1 and Season 2 last year, it was the rock, paper, scissors of Quincy, EG, and Undying all losing to each other. They never dropped another game against someone else. And so now that's thrown into imbalance, because if you pick up 2 losses, you might not be able to get in that top 2 tiebreaker slot even.
That's big for Undying, because the first DPC season, they lost a tiebreaker. They were like 1 match away from qualifying, and the second one they didn't make it. It was a big bummer for them. So EG's loss is Undying's profit, and who knows, maybe even the Zoomers or someone else will be able to squeeze their way up if we get some more upsets. It's a lot of new teams, so it could be upsets.
And it's not as devastating as I once was led to believe, because I didn't see the point distribution this year. Season 1, 2, and 3 and Major 1, 2, and 3 give different points for the same placement. It goes up as you get closer to TI, which is good in that it provides more of a benefit to the teams that are peaking later in the year, so that if you do really good in Season 1 in December, that may not be relevant to how you're going to do in October 2022 when TI actually rolls around. And so if you don't make it to Major 1, which I'm sure like Enigma Galaxy fans are also concerned about for right now, because they've already picked up 2 losses as well. It's not the end of the world, because last year was a bit of an anomaly because we only had the 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I think by having 3 seasons, you can allow to like even get a couple of players out if you don't think it's working out for a certain team.
Arkosh! It's time to go to the game number 1. Take it away.
It's time for the Arkosh game. Are you excited?
Yes, very much so.
I can tell. I love what you're wearing. I'm very excited to see Gremlo hopefully not miss skill again. I think they're gonna win.
It's a bold claim. We'll see if it pays off. Mid Pugna, very volatile hero, I must say. I'm glad they have it on their most established veteran player in Forsaken Oracle.
How is he the most established? This is only his 2nd pro game, isn't it?
Well, that's how Arkosh works.
Oh, okay.
The newest player is always the most established.
Oh, that makes 0 sense.
As does most of his team.
Excellent. I do know that we were in the back room talking to T-Gov, not an Arkosh fan, by the way, and he was saying that they should watch out for Devi Lama on that Timber Saw. Do you agree with that?
What was his reason?
I don't remember, because I don't listen to people who don't like Arkosh.
That is a good way to judge that. This is a decent Timber game in some aspects. It depends a lot on this Pugna Grim getting shut down. They're mainly the damage to deal with him. It was mainly a response to Furion, and it's unlikely he'll be laning versus Furion, so we'll see how good his laning phase is, but he could pop off. Timbersaw is one of those heroes you usually end up 17-0 or 0-17.
You always hope that you don't go the 0-17, though.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that, but, you know.
Anything is possible. It's an Arkosh game. Of course, this time, though, it is Wildcard, of course, playing it, so perhaps having a little bit better luck. Maybe just a touch. So what do you think we're going to see throughout this match? What's the plan here for Arkosh?
Run at them. For lack of any strategic planning or lack of scrims or anything resembling a strategy, their heroes want to run at Wildcard, force the early towers, force the early aggression, sync up this Grimstroke Pugna with their really nice spell combinations, get this Gyro snowballing, get this Furion to take the early towers. Their heroes do not want to just go ultra late versus Sven Storm Timber with a Bane grip somewhere behind with not a lot of ways to cancel it. It's going to be really sad for them. So, name of the game is early aggression. Dominate the lanes as much as you can and transition it into early towers and early ganks.
You make it sound so simple, and I know for a fact that Even with the simplest plan, sometimes these guys struggle very, very hard.
Sometimes the simplest things are the hardest to execute because you assume they're easy and you make a lot of assumptions in terms of how you're going to get there, but it doesn't always pan out, right?
That's very true. Very true. And it's like the unlikely pairing of Pale Horse and Gremlo. They can't stand each other. And yet they are forced in their own sort of purgatory to be constantly stuck with each other throughout the laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, even there, Gremlo takes a range creep. You know Pale Horse is just flaming him in the comms. Unacceptable.
Oh, absolutely. And he's going to demand that he get spoon-fed regen throughout this entire time, this entire laning phase.
Yep. Gremlo flying out of Windlace, so he's already in for a world of pain, I'm sure. And the comms afterwards, that should be double salve.
If you were Pale Horse, would you be very upset right now?
I'm a generous carry. I have the support perspective, so I give leniency, you know.
You do show mercy. Something that Arkosh does not possess.
It's definitely an Arkosh draft, though, I must say. It fits their style, fits their tempo.
Of just running at the enemy?
Yeah. Turn your brain off and 5-man. Some good old caveman Dota, so to say.
Yeah, but that implies that you had a brain on in the first place.
Oh, there's always something cooking.
I just feel like sometimes it's just a hamster on a wheel for some of them.
Seems like you know more about them than I do. I've only been in interaction with their content creation team, so.
I delve into the lore. Do you know that Gremlo does not have thumbs, but he wears a prosthetic thumb because he feels very bad about it?
So you're bringing that up on stream is just going to make him more self-conscious?
No, I want him to love himself for who he is, that he doesn't need that prosthetic.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's affecting his gameplay.
It still seems just as subpar as it normally is.
I guess we'll find out. Maybe it does affect his gameplay.
Maybe.
He gets the courier snipe. His inventory's looking a little weird. Double fairy fire Windlace, but we'll see how it pans out.
Could you play Dota without your thumbs?
It'd be difficult. I'm sure I could get used to it. In my current form, no, but maybe with prosthetics.
It's possible.
It could be super advanced prosthetics.
You get like a robot thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that. You seem like a guy to have a robot thumb. All right, well, this middle lane is going very much in favor of Esk, 35-3 on the Storm Spirit. And as for Forsaken Oracle, he is a little bit Forsaken. He's sitting at 16-1.
Yeah, I've heard from mid players over the years that you can dominate almost any Storm matchup, bar his super bad ones, if you play it really well. Static Remnant is just an unbelievable laning spell in general. You can always get super high net worth with this hero. So I'm never surprised when I see Storms pulling ahead. But I'm not sure this is that bad of a matchup for Pugna in terms of what he should be able to get out of it. Might just be a little bit of an outplay in this lane. But it's not the worst. Pugna doesn't need some crazy good net worth start. He just needs levels. Just get the levels. Get you know, some early Aether or mana boots. Start hitting the towers, syncing up with your supports.
We do see that they did force out the teleport over into the mid lane. Alex making his way over to protect Esk, believing that possibly, you know, they're going to end up clashing with that Spirit Breaker. But again, Spirit Breaker just going to back away. And my question now is, do they try to make something happen? Do they try to slow down Forsaken Oracle? As I say this, as Esk zips in into an arrow. Okay, that answers my question. X getting the first blood against Forsaken Oracle, and Gremlo, ooh, he's a little late again.
Is he? Maybe he's just here for the cleanup crew, you know? Get that sweet solo XP. Forsaken Oracle, I'm not going to save you anyway, so I'll just take your XP while you're gone. And you can bottle me when you come back in, you know?
Ooh,
that
yeah.
always feels nice.
That is nice when you get bottle service as a support. I don't think he's going to do it, though.
We'll see. Maybe he's antagonistic towards his own teammate, but 6-minute rune coming soon. I think both teams should heavily contest this. These early power runes for Storm, super big. They have decent rune contest too, as long as someone doesn't get arrowed.
That is the problem, but they do have the life drain, so that'll be a kill for Gremlo. He is a greedy player, of course. Sammy, though, in a great position, will be able to get a nice little courier snipe on Crow's courier. He's gonna give a couple love taps on his way through. The double damage, though, on Gremlo. Go right forward. Nice stroke of fate. They had the silence over on Sammy. He's going to just take a little bit of nap. You've worked hard, Gremlo, but Gonna follow up, chasing after Sammy, but while this is going on, they have the arrow combination yet again over onto Forsaken Oracle, and there's not a lot that they can do to try to save him. Monkey joining back in there with the teleport. A lot of tree damage going on over onto S. This is a wild middle lane here, SVG.
Yeah, Pugna's not coming out great, but I guess his supports are pretty happy. Timbersaw gets free reign, but there's not much they can do to interact with him up here, so you rather contest these mid-skirmishes. Huge committal by them, but I guess Grimlow comes out on top. He gets the big DD, gets like 1.5 kills, so he's pretty happy. It's good to make your supports happy.
It is. It really is.
Sometimes it means you lose, but at least they're happy.
Have you ever been the reason that you've lost a pub because someone's trying to make you happy, sir?
Nobody ever tries to make me happy.
I'm so sorry.
I probably do well on Arkosh.
Don't let them hear you. They'll just show up one day at night and just kidnap you and make you join the team like they did to AUI.
No, they can't force me to play. I value my career too much.
Are you saying that AUI didn't?
I'm saying, you know, there's a reason AUI left or got kicked, whichever they're gonna say it was.
Depends on the story and who's telling it, right?
But I think he's in a much better place. So
make it sound like he's dead. But no, he is. He's working with Tundra, of course. And the Tundra boys seem very happy to have him, so. Seeing another charge over onto the mid lane. Monkey putting a little bit of harassment. This is interesting to me. As Crow, no brakes on this train. My goodness. He has got to be very careful because the arrow, again, connecting beautifully here. Get the Decrepify off. That Starstorm almost finishing the job. The Vi Llama joining back in. Crow trying to break Smakles. He's not going to be able to do it. As Eve's joining into the fight. They're going to clean up these trees, but they've already lost their tower. Oh, Sammy was looking to make something happen here. Oracle's going to take a little bit of a nap. Monkey's going to trade off here. They want this kill, though, over on Forsaken Oracle. They are going to find it, and they're still chasing after Monkey. They have the vision, throwing down the trees. I don't believe they can do anything more, but they will be able to kill Gremlow. Send him back to his dimension.
game's looking rough. Yeah, I usually don't call super early GGs, but Arkosh is going to have to summon some huge momentum swing in this game. Because if you're losing the early game engagements with their lineup around these towers, it bodes quite ill.
Definitely doesn't feel good, especially when you have this Timbersaw that really has not been forced out. Oracle's going to try to get the life drain off, but he's got a Timber Chain. They just don't possess the lockdown right now to be able to eliminate this Timbersaw.
Yeah, they need to get this Fury on Orchid online. That is their best tool to be able to swing some of these engagements. Abuse the early silence, especially on Decrep targets. Abuse the Decrep Phantom Embrace combo. Back up the cow when he charges in. Try and not overextend like they did mid too much, you know. You can get some kills, swing it back a little bit before the Storm becomes too much of an issue.
And Esk is an absolutely fabulous Storm Spirit player, definitely known for that. They'll put a little bit of silence, though, over on Sammy Boy. Decrepify with the life drain. And that Nature's Wrath. The choo-choo coming in hot. Here comes Crow. Off some nice hits here. No bashes, though, yet, but one little boop coming out from Forsaken Oracle will ensure that Sammy Boy is no longer here. He's been banished. Ooh, that was very peculiar looking. They get the silence off. Monkey being chased around in the trees by Eves. Looks like he's going to be able to survive it.
That was just unlucky, I think. I think there is a window where his chain gets stopped if his movement gets displaced. I could just be terribly wrong on that, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Also that the Phantom's Embrace Slash wasn't there in time. That's their biggest spell in terms of interaction with his Timbersaw. You get the Embrace on him, plus the Decrep. If his Chakram's ever out, he's just stuck there in silence for the full duration. He can die pretty easily this game. They have a lot of early magic damage. Pugna is extremely good at bursting that hero. So name of the game is keep going with your Pugna. Make sure he can try and find some of these kills, because that's your way to regain the momentum in this game.
I am a little bit surprised. Like, usually when I see a Pugna in the mid lane, I'm thinking this is going to be the guy who takes down the mid tower. And the mid tower did go down fairly quickly, but of course it was Monkey making that rotation with the trees. So how does this Pugna get activated?
I mean, he needs mana. That's one thing. He's going to pick up the Arcane Boots and... Alright, yeah, he's rushing the Aether. He has a wand, so they're gonna try and take this bottom fight. The main way he gets activated is if Wildcard chooses to engage them, basically. Because Wildcard is a choice. They can kind of just dodge on the map. and play the Timbersaw in their enemy jungle, play the Sven at their triangle like they're doing now, and it's only if they choose to engage in these open areas that this Pugna can kind of get his way back, because he really wants to fight. He needs kills, he needs to find stuff on the map.
It looks like maybe he'll get this kill here. It's
Yep.
a nice pick off. Arkosh will start taking over this bottom area of the jungle. They've opened up the map by taking the bottom tier 1. So Wildcard, they can decide what they want to do. Okay, pull back over onto Crow. The nice soulbind though coming out from Gremlo, but there's nothing else really followed up. Oh, never mind. There's going to be the call down. Pale Horse getting into position. They got the double suck for half a second there. Not going to be enough as Esk easily dodges away from the missile. And just like that, it's over.
That could have been really good if Spear Breaker charged in. He charged top instead, so they missed the swell. But that's where I feel like when you play these lineups, you just gotta go all in, you know? Don't be afraid of dying. Just, you find some people, just go on them. Because you gotta start swinging these early kills in your favor.
It looks like they're hunting now for this Timbersaw. But he's already realized that there was a rotation. They've got some nice wards on the river to keep tabs on this. So the Vailama will be able to very serenely just timber chain out to safety. Smoke play coming out from Wildcard.
Yeah, they're probably looking for this gyro on the triangle. It's a nice little two-man smoke too. They can swing bottom if they think the Furion's there, but their biggest priority is this gyro. This is pretty close to the tier 1 mid though.
Yeah, look at Sammy. He wants this, but he's going to behave. He's going to wait patiently. Find the angle. Eves is here. Let's open up with a nice Stormhammer. The drag back into the arrow. And they do have that Inkswell, but it's not going to be able to save them as there's a lot of damage coming out from Eves right now. They've managed to take down Sammy. And they'll go throw the tree up, trying to ensure that the Sven cannot hit, but they'll break him free. A little bit of the suck coming out here again from Forsaken Oracle. As Arkosh just trying to get their hands on anybody else, but they've already vacated the premises.
Yeah, again, they just need to sync their spells up a little bit, and they'll be able to convert on some of those kills. They were also 10 seconds or so off this Soulbind, and Soulbind's a huge part of their early team fight in terms of getting the double Pugna spells off, you know, the double silence, double missile. It hits, I think, but
All right, well,
that one's pretty rare.
They're going to try to go in on the Vailama. Crow needing to be a bit careful here. He's sitting a little bit low. They've got the silence. They've got the Inkswell. The arrow, though, coming in from Alex. Beautifully done. Look at the Soulbind. It doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot of them. A bit slow. And they will eventually, though, take down the Timber.
The arrow's just a free trip to base, you know. He tanked it for the boys. Now they don't have to worry about it.
One may argue that he wanted to die there.
Maybe so. Maybe Forsaken Oracle told him to tank it as punishment.
Is he allowed to do that?
I don't know. What is this a team allowed to do or not allowed to do?
This is a really good question, because I don't think anyone quite knows.
Only Slacks knows.
Only Slacks, that mastermind.
But this is the window. The Orchid on Furion can really counterplay this Storm. So this is where they need to get some extraction out of the map, so to say.
Esk finds himself a Pale Horse, and Eves is here, so Pale Horse going to be riding out on a Pale Horse as death came to his front door.
Nice sleep on the Pugna on the side. Make sure he can't get there to save his friend.
Sammy's hunting. They found the Marana. Look at the disarm. Follow up with the Inkswell. It should be a dead Alex. And now the hunt is on. Sammy and Defy are here. They have the Fiend's Grip, though. They should be able to take down Forsaken Oracle. It's over on the back line. Step forward here. They'll take down Monkey. Now Defy just cutting through the trees. Cuts down Gremlo. And the rest of the side of Arkosh, there's only really one still alive after that skirmish. The Gyro just respawning. They're just going to back off.
Yeah, it's a tough fight to take. Unless they can really focus targets super well. I mean, again, this Pugna needs to stay alive in order for them to win fights. He's just way too much of their early game damage. He doesn't even have Pugna Ward yet, which is also one of their best tools of dealing with his Timbersaw in the early engagements, but Sven just gets a free fight on the back line, God Strength. He's going to clean them all up. If Pugna's dead, there's really no counterplay.
Zip forward from Esk. He's found Pale Horse. Sammy getting to position here. It's a lot of damage. The call down comes up. The Soulbind, though. get off the silence onto both. Pale Horse will fall, and they'll find the kill on Semi and S. The follow-up, though, Eves is here. He wants to kill Gremlow. He should be able to get it. And now Crow, he's left alone. He's getting a bash off. Can he finish off over onto Alex? It's so close. No! Alex will survive.
Furion just didn't want to go to that fight, or what? I guess he was considering it at the end, or didn't come in time, though. Again, you're going to play this run at Udota. You got to connect up all 5 heroes. They really need everybody in these fights. In fact, I feel like Wildcard's almost bringing more heroes to these early engagements than Arkosh is, which is a little surprising, because Pugna's not going to keep up in this game at this rate. He played kind of sacrificial in the early engagements, so he needs his boys to help him pick up the slack, so to say.
I don't think it was his idea to play sacrificial, though.
Probably not.
Some bad luck happened to Forsaken Oracle. You'd think he would have seen that coming.
Yeah, that's the way of the Pugna. Sometimes you crush a game in 20 minutes, and sometimes you end up blasting core net worth.
Dust gets used. They get the jump off. Forsaken Oracle is the first one to die, as now Crow gets chased down. It's the Nightmare on him. Just gonna give him a little boop here. Ask will clean up.
Straight into the Roche pit.
In they go. There's not a whole heck of a lot that Arkosh can do.
No, they have no AoE control outside of, I guess, a gyro ulti for the slow. So these types of clumped engagements, not that advantageous for them. I guess they have Inkswell. Though I don't know if anybody's running in and surviving long enough with Inkswell on them to actually pop it.
I mean, it's a good initiation tool, right? You have the Spirit Breaker, charge in. You've got the Inkswell on him, so you've got that. But the follow-up, like you said, a little bit lacking here.
Yeah, I guess you can swell the Breaker in and then you can decrep him so Sven and Storm don't insta-kill him. Then you get your Inkswell. Maybe that's the synergy play here.
They just have to get it to line up is the problem.
Yes, and they have to do it twice versus Storm now. There's also a Yules, which... very nice item versus Spear Breaker and Grim and Pugna.
Oh, the jump forward over onto Monkey. They'll go for the disarm, follow up with a charge, life drain, but not quite enough here as Eve's getting into the fight, pops out the Storm Hammer. Again, the decrepit fight buys a bit more time, but it's only buying time. Monkey just clinging over to the left side. Just please, he begs, please. He's going to try to teleport out. I don't believe he makes it out, though. Not with all these heroes here. And this is looking like a very dead Pugna. Eventually, Sammy gets himself a double kill. They do find Defy Lava, though. They've got a lot of damage to pop out on him, but they don't have the lockdown like we talked about. So looks like this Timber going to survive the arrow right on the tail end over onto the Gyrocopter's booty. The tips come out, and down goes Gyro. Soulbind does slow them down a little bit. They have the silence. Defy Llama over here paying attention to Crow. So Nightmare gets used over on Gremlow. And it's a double kill now as Defy Llama gets the final hit on Crow.
Yeah, that is not a good fight for Arkosh, to say the least. One thing I'm not sure what actually happened was there was a random Essence Ring on the ground at some point. Whose Essence Ring was this, and where did it come from?
That is the question. Can we see?
It just drops. You can't even really see it in the replay.
Did somebody clean it up, like as they zip through? Because sometimes, no?
I actually have no idea where it came from.
The only thing I can wonder is like maybe Esk zipped through or something to cause it to get tossed to him.
I mean, sometimes like someone shovels a creep and then the little mini creep that spawns dies and it can spawn a neutral item, but there's no neutral creeps there.
It's truly some black magic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Arkosh is just summoning neutral items out of the ground. Maybe he offered it up as a peace offering,
That could be. I mean, it's NA Dota 2. Someone could have just dropped it on the ground.
That's also possible. There are some notorious item droppers on Arkosh, I've been told. I won't name names, but...
That's part of the lore. The Wrath of Nature is what our observer is circling around, so I'm wondering if perhaps it was a Wrath of Nature that popped on a creep camp. But the zip forward again here, coming out from Gremlow was an easy little target. They'll follow up. They'll just absolutely blow Crow up. Oh my word. Wildcard came ready to play.
Yeah, they're showing no mercy.
So they're showing that the Essence Ring is over on the side of Arkosh. Yes.
Why was it there, though?
I think it was a Wrath of Nature that...
Yeah, but that still spawns it on the creep that it kills.
I thought they transferred over to where you are now.
Doesn't? I guess that's why I'm retired again, so.
Fiend's Grip, they just ignore Pale Horse. They want Forsaken Oracle because they know they can go right back in and give the chop out. Or in this case, you know, the Zippin. They've had enough
GG.
on Arkosh. They call G.